You're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast on Digital Stream Radio.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast, a weekly show that chronicles the adventures of motherhood. I'm Candace. Now let's start the show. Hey!
Hey. You caught me crunching on a cookie.
I
Thanks,
did bring
James.
them. It is James. Let's blame James for that.
Yeah, James, you're horrible. This is just, you shouldn't do this to fat boys.
But this is what skinny people do. They bring all the good stuff that they don't eat. I feel like they get some vicarious joy out of watching you eat it. Eat your own cookie, okay?
Right? He's living through you.
Through my chubby.
But either way, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Breezy Moms podcast. And her gay boy.
Right. Just put it out there.
Because I'm not a mom.
It's true. But it's okay. It's okay because it works. It works. I'm so happy to be here. It's been another great week.
That's right.
And I hate when we talk about the weather, but in the middle of February, or it's not middle, but in the middle of winter, you have to appreciate near 50-degree days.
Hello. I was almost in a bathing suit on the beach.
I know how you act.
Like close. Came close to just walking down to the beach in shorts and a tank top.
Oh my God. It wasn't that warm, but it was really warm. We've been outside every day in the backyard. We went to the park. We went on walks. It's been really, really nice to get out.
I do have to admit it was a little soggy.
Today was wet, but it wasn't raining. So I still count it as a win. We still were outside and things were good. So sorry, I just choked. This thing we're drinking, what are we drinking? Truly, it's spiked.
It's spiked seltzer.
Spiked seltzer. It's fancy, but it just caught me like on the back corner of your tongue.
Got a little cold.
Yeah, just
tingle on the tongue.
Just a little tingle.
Like little needles.
Yes.
But it's good. I'm having vodka.
Okay.
Just vodka.
Yes, but you've had a day.
I have. I'm having vodka with a splash of the coconut berry. Oh God, what is it?
I don't know. Mine's pomegranate and cranberry juice.
Red Bull. There you go.
Red Bull.
It's coconut berry Red Bull.
That is good. That tastes like juice.
It's delicious.
Like cocaine juice. I don't know what cocaine tastes like.
Well, neither do I.
People are getting in trouble left and right for things that they say. I don't know what cocaine tastes like.
Right.
But it sounds like cocaine
because you
juice.
just never know. Something you said 20 years ago might come back and bite you in the butt.
And in most cases it should, but not this one.
I agree. But yeah, I've had a very tough couple of hours.
Yeah.
The past 24 hours are very, very, how would I say, oh God, I don't even have words today, to be honest with you. It's been very challenging for the family because I know that I had mentioned before on the show
Grandma was sick.
Grandma was very sick. And so last night, Grandma passed away. And she did so at home.
At home with family.
Oh, that place was full every day.
Wow.
There was a lot of love. So, she knew that people were there. 3 days ago, she literally calls me over and she says, "Come here, I'm going to tell you a joke." And she says, "Sit down." So I sit down next to her and I said, "What do you got?" And she goes, "I forgot." And I think that was the joke, right? But, some people thought maybe she really forgot what she was going to say, but I don't think so.
Right.
She was way too sharp for that shit. And so, yeah, we lost her last night. She passed away like around 9:30 p.m. Yeah. And so all day today, I've been running around with my mother who's here. She's staying with me. And we made arrangements and stuff, because my aunt, who is her proxy or the person in charge of her affairs going forward, was a little distraught and out of it. So, so we ended up making some arrangements and stuff. But other than that, we're good. Yeah. I said to Candace, Candace, the show almost didn't happen tonight.
Right.
And Candace said, I would, she sent me a text and I said, I'd understand if you didn't want to do it. And I said, no, one, I need the distraction, which is good. And two, Breezy Moms is happening. This gay boy needs I need to let it out.
Yeah. So. That's what it is. Well, I'm so sorry to hear it, but I'm glad that she was here and nearby, and so many of you were able to be there with her on these, last few weeks. She's been here for a little while.
My main thing right now is just to make sure that Mom, at an emotional level, is somewhere where she's stable. Yeah, because she just tends to sort of kind of go over.
Recluse, that's not the word, but
no, she lets it out, but it's just she just loses it. She has a literal breakdown. Okay, and so I'm trying to avoid that. So needless to say, she's been drinking a lot of very happy pills. Yeah, keeps her nice and calm.
Nice and calm.
Yeah.
Well, I am not a fan of bottling it up. Whenever I was just talking to a friend, whenever I need a good cleansing cry, my thing of choice is Grey's Anatomy. I can always count on Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
To just flush my whole emotional system. This is a good clean flush.
Man, some of those episodes really know how to tug at you, right?
And it's ridiculous. And even the new ones are. It's a soap opera. I've decided it is a soap opera because I haven't watched in several years, but I turn it on and enough of the same cast is there that you just roll with it, and after 20 minutes you know exactly who's sleeping with who's doing what, who's where. You're like, that's right, we still having this conversation. Like, it's just, but
like Izzy
I get
left
what I
the
need.
show
10 years ago
10 years ago, and there's still times in where they mention her name, or when they mention what's his name, what's the other one that
O'Malley.
He was a cutie.
Yeah.
And
that's a show from my college years, so that's like a show of my youth. I feel like it's.
I was totally into Grey's Anatomy when it first came out, and I watched it for like the first 7 seasons.
Right.
And then I just stopped.
I lost it after when Denny died. I was over it. Then O'Malley was gone. Izzy was gone. I mean, it started to get. I was like, why am I still here? All my people are leaving.
You know, speaking of that show, because there was an actor on that show who lost his job on that show for some shit that he had said.
He said.
You know?
Well, let's go there.
We need to go there, right? Isaiah Washington actually got fired from
Grey's
for
saying
Anatomy.
something ignorant, and he should have been fired, or he should have been in a lot of trouble. But it always seems like when some shit goes down, it always goes down a lot harder for us than it does for others.
That's right.
So,
and there's some shit happening in the news that I think it's very important that we touch.
Well, let's start by saying Happy Black History Month. Okay, I'm Black all the time, all day, every day. But February, I say it more.
I'm sort of kind of like of color, right?
Yes, you are. You're a little light and bright, but we still will accept you in the fold.
Love you, baby.
Right.
Thank you.
So happy Black History Month. And I'm going to start on a high note, right? So I'm super excited about Black History Month and about figuring out how to talk about being Black, like actively talk about it with my sons, because now Lincoln is in school. He's 4. He's almost 5. We have like real conversations sometimes, most of the time. And before that, I don't know. Like I don't know if I always talk about Black stuff, but I don't know if I actively talked about it with him, to him, so that he understood. I think obviously he would know that he looks different from so-and-so looks different from the other one, but he didn't have any kind of backstory about it. And now in the last couple months, and then now especially in Black History Month, when I don't know something, I'm like, let's go to YouTube and just pull up a video, like, or we ask Alexa, what is Black History Month? Because I start to trip over the words. Well, Black History Month, well, Black people, we didn't just start at slavery. Well, so slavery was, I start to get confused, and I have to remember that he's only 4, so I can't, you don't want to overdo it. And the easiest thing for me to do is to ask fucking Alexa. And Alexa hooks us up, and then we go on to YouTube. We found a video of Dr. Martin Luther King's great-granddaughter, probably. So she's like 9. So he sort of stayed interested in it because she was little and she was talking. She
actually introduced these 2 young, gorgeous black girls for the Super Bowl. It was Dr. King's granddaughter, I think it was.
I didn't see that.
So, you know that...
it's probably his granddaughter.
Gladys Knight, she sang the national anthem for the Super Bowl. She was absolutely amazing.
Makes sense.
Loved it. Before she went on, these 2 gorgeous, young, beautiful Black girls went up there and sang America the Beautiful. Oh. And it was gorgeous. Wow. But they were...
Was it the twins?
I think so. They're from Atlanta.
With the dreads?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they're cute.
Absolutely
gorgeous. And they
gorgeous.
sing really well.
Oh, my God, it was beautiful.
Oh, I don't remember their names.
And so I believe that it was Dr. King's granddaughter that introduced them into the crowd in the stadium, if I'm not mistaken my events. But while you look for their names, I want to talk about, being in a city like New Haven. And being Black and celebrating Black History Month. One of the cool things that I love about New Haven is that New Haven has been one of those cities that has always put prominent Black members and people in our society on pedestals. and on buildings. Like if you walk through some of the schools in New Haven, you see prominent black people on, you know, murals and paintings all over the city. And it's been like that for many years. But I also remember, too, that one of the longest running mayors of New Haven was also a black man, John C. Daniels.
Oh, I don't know. My knowledge of New Haven doesn't go back that far.
So before DeStefano, who got elected for like 9 terms, John C. Daniels was mayor.
Okay.
Of New Haven. And I remember him being a very, very, I was a child when my grandmother used to take me to the rallies and stuff. And I remember him being very personable and very charismatic, but also very like godlike, right? Like he would talk to people and he commanded your attention.
Like a pastor.
In a way that was just so riveting. And so I remember that. And I've always remembered being in New Haven and having that reflection seen throughout the city. So,
which New Haven, I mean, in that regard, and now we have a black female mayor, Toni Harp.
That's right.
Who's the first black female mayor since
her husband
he was
crooked, but yes.
Listen, and I love that she's like, listen, I don't have anything to do with that. Like, that's not how any of this works. But again, let's not drag her for things that we don't drag other people for. But like, it's an interesting, New Haven is really interesting in that most of New Haven is black or people of color or people of color. But between Yale and general white people love New Haven. Everybody loves New Haven. And then they or I should say, but they organize themselves into little pockets around New Haven. And then those become like the most awesome parts of New Haven. And then generally, because you only think about Yale when you think about New Haven, then it's like, oh, New Haven is great. And then someone will say, oh, but the crime. It's like, what crime? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like just a weird, like anywhere else. So it's a very interesting and weird thing that I have being like implant into New Haven and being parts of, not that I'm a part of the white world, but being around lots of white people and listening to the way that people talk about New Haven. Oh, I love New Haven. Oh, but they only ever go between church and temple, right? Like they never go past.
So I work at a bar. I bartend every weekend and on Saturdays. And so I can't tell you how many times someone has come asking for directions. They'll say like, you know, where is the Marriott Hotel? And you'll say, well, it's on Whaley Avenue. And so you got to go to the end of the street, which is, I believe it's York Street.
Right.
Take a left, follow it down, and it's right there. Now, when you're leaving the hotel, always take a right, never take a left. Right. And only go as far as,
You say that to people?
No, the chicken place across the street.
Popeyes? You tell people not to go past Popeyes?
No.
Oh.
But that's what I hear people say. You know, it's like if you're
when you hear other people. Got it.
It's go the Broadway way. Don't go the other way because, you know, you're going to see two different sides of New Haven. And that pisses me off.
It does. I have the same experience when I was moving to New Haven. I ended up living in Hamden, and the realtor... First of all, the realtor's office was downtown New Haven on Trumbull Street. And when she took me to the apartment, we went down Whitney Avenue. All the way down Whitney until we got not Dixwell, until we got way to the end. And then we cut over and the building was right there. And I was like, oh, this is nice. But when I moved here from Boston, I had to come on 95 and take Dixwell down. And I was like, whoa, what just... First of all, where did all the stores go? Why are there people in the street? Where did all the buildings go? What is happening? And I remember all my stuff was in the truck already. I was like, listen, where are you taking me?
All my shit's going to be gone.
Oh my God, it was insane. But people know how to present
the city in ways that would bypass Latinos,
a whole group of
people of color, and certain pockets of the city. Like they literally navigate around it.
I know. I was listening to someone give directions to get to one of our schools, and he was giving so many. And he is like a man of town. He's not from New Haven, but everybody knows him around here and he knows everything, right? But all the directions he was giving to get to this other school was through downtown New Haven and through like a whole and I was like, oh, you could just go on Sherman and it'll take you right into the back of the school. Like 3 miles on Sherman takes you right there. He was like, oh, you're right. So yeah, why would you do all of this other stuff? So oh, I understand what you did there. I get it. That's why you would do all this other stuff, so you could bypass all of those things. But this is the city, right? And you have to love all of it, or else I think you should have to love all of it, or else you're just
otherwise it's really not New Haven.
I have other things to say. I have other choice words.
But like I said, there is a lot of shit that goes on in New Haven,
like everywhere,
and we can't hide it.
Nope.
But I do appreciate the representation of people of color within our societies, even if it's in small pockets.
Yeah.
Because especially in our school system, it's very prevalent in our school system.
Yeah. It's New Haven's an interest. You heard me. I've called it our oh shit, I forget what I call it. It's a mix between a suburban city-burbia is what I've been calling it.
City-burbia.
A city-burbia, because it feels like a suburb to me, because I'm from the Bronx, and all of New Haven fits in Co-op City, right? Like, it's just
truth.
It's so true. But it's, you have a big university, you have a couple universities, a couple of hospitals. Like, the vibe here is cool because it's drawing so many people to come here. So I'm happy with being
we do have
here.
city status, but really what you're trying to say is that New Haven should just really be like a town, right?
No lies detected.
Yeah.
It probably should be a town. It's like all of New Haven is like a zip code in the Bronx. And that's not even all of New York City.
Truth.
But anyway, so happy Black History Month.
That's right.
And so I was talking to my kids and in the daycare about Black History Month. I have a book called.
I didn't ask you how are the boys,
but I guess we can do it now.
We'll use this as part of what you're doing with the boys.
Yeah, the boys are good. So I was reading this book. I was reading this book called "This Is the Dream," right? And we're talking about it. And two of the kids in the program right now are white, and then it's us. It's like my family, and then this other kid who's half black, half white. And the first thing I said was, "Oh, so tell me about like what you see in here. Who in here is black?" And the white kid says, "Oh, you're you and Lincoln and Emery, and then him a little bit." And I was like, "What do you mean him a little bit? The kid who's half black, half white?" He points at him. He goes, "Oh, and him a little bit." This kid's 7, right? He's like, "Yeah, a little bit," because his parents are both. And I was like, "Okay." And
and how old is he?
He's 7. He just turned 7 like 2 weeks ago.
So he would have a little bit more. He would be able to see or understand a little bit more about the differences between.
Well, they can all see. I mean, I don't think the 2-year-olds see it, but Lincoln at 4 knows that he's black and that so-and-so. He might not know exactly what they are, but he knows that they're different looking from him. And so does this kid. This kid knows that he's white and he knows that we're black, and he has friends who are Asian. And so it's helpful. Like, it's not a kid who's never seen people of color before. He lives in New Haven, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was super hilarious when he said, "and him a little bit." But then, so in the book, it's talking about a lot of stuff, like the stuff at the lunch counters and the bus boycott and the march across the bridge in Selma. Like, it's going through a bunch of these things. And I kept saying, "Is that fair?" And they would say, "No, that's not fair." And I said to the little boy, I was like, "Can you imagine if you couldn't come to my house because you were white and I was black?" And he goes, that would not be fair and that would not be okay. I would just bust open the door and come right in." And I was like, I see what you're going for there, but that's not actually what you should be doing. But I thought it was really sweet that his thought was, I would just I would make my way in because I should be able to be here with you, right? Yeah. But because I'm older and I know, that also sounds like I should be able to be wherever I am, wherever I want to be, because I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean? So it was a really weird thing that I I don't think I had to check myself, because obviously he's 7. I know he doesn't feel that way or doesn't think all the negative things, but it comes out. And I feel like as Black people in this space, it's so easy to be triggered by things.
Of course.
Even by a 7-year-old.
And not realize,
you know what I mean?
It's a 7-year-old.
It's a 7-year-old, and he obviously didn't mean that way, but things are triggering. They're triggering. And these are reasons why we need not wait until kids are 7 or 10 or 12 or 15 or whatever to have these conversations, because by then it's too late, right? Like, by then they already have their ideas of what things should be or what they should be able to do or whatever.
But I also think it presents a really good opportunity for you as someone who they rely on for a decent portion of their education to really step up to the plate and set it straight from the beginning, right from the get-go.
Right. So I was asking all the, at some other point, I was like, so what are you? Like, I'm black. What are you? And one kid says he's white. And then Lincoln says, I said, Lincoln, what is mommy? And he goes, black, 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 black. He's at 4 black. So I was like, okay. And then the other little boy says, I'm red. And then, then I said, well, what's daddy? And Lincoln goes, he's black. So, okay. And I said, Emery, what are you? And he goes, black! Black! It was just so hilarious. I'm like having this reasonable conversation with Lincoln, but Emery is just the most unreasonable person you've ever met. And it was just so perfect the way he said it on cue. I have no idea if he knows what he said, but he knew what to do in the moment. I was like, yep, my work's done.
Yep.
Like,
listen, I got this, Mom.
We did it. They know that they're black. All right, moving on.
That's incredible, though.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting, it's only the 6th, right? And it's only been a couple of days of having daycare, but in the week, but I found a bunch of books at Goodwill. I hate going to the library now because I always end up with fines because I don't go every week. And then I owe the library so much money.
But that's okay. That's how they make their money.
Yes, but
because if you're checking out books and returning them on time, aside from that membership fee that you pay, do you even pay?
There's no membership fee for the free public library.
Then how are they going to pay? Make money. That's
city?
how they make money.
I know. Anyway, I stopped going.
Tax.
I just go. Well, that's why I just go to Goodwill and buy them secondhand. And so I picked up Spike Lee's book, Puppy Please Puppy, or Please Puppy Please, or something. And then this one called This Is the Dream. And then a couple other ones that just have black kids in them and black people in them. And then we have a couple other ones like, it's not Black History, but it's A is for Activism, and then Counting on Community. And so there's some cool stuff. What I really want is that the ABC of hip hop, or the hip hop ABCs or something, that has, I don't know if Jay-Z wrote it, somebody wrote it, but it's got all like hip hop characters and whatever characters. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but it's all hip hop. And then there's another one called the ABCs of the Black Panther Party. Or the Black Panther ABC, something like that. So I'm trying to get my hands on those two. In the meanwhile, we're just making do with what we have, and then I go on YouTube and find some little like cartoon videos or some little animated videos that are not too long, so that I can kind of keep their attention for the 3 minutes that they're willing to give it to me at snack time. And then Lincoln is coming home. They're talking about famous black inventors at school. So he came and he said, a black woman invented the washing machine. I was like, yes. And a black man invented the iron. I was like, yes, here we go.
I read somewhere on Facebook that a black woman gave us the GPS.
That I don't know.
Yeah. So anytime that you search for directions on your phone or on a TomTom, or
because she was sick of. Listen, I told you.
I was sick of telling you take a right, left, right, and you weren't listening. So let me computerize this shit for you.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It was something that popped up on Facebook. I have not confirmed nor validated the validity of what I seen, but I saw it on Facebook and it just sounded like something I should say.
I love that I have some friends who do for Black History Month. It's like a themed post that they do every year. And this year, my friend Darren is doing queer Black history. So every day he posts a new, a person who's queer and black in history.
I just saw a picture of the transgender woman that threw a brick at police in the Stonewall riots.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And she was smiling like all 4 of her like mugshots, and I thought it was incredible.
That sounds right.
Yep.
So I've just been posting his posts. because sometimes I'm like, I should do something, and then I can't ever keep up consistently with something. So, one year he did like music. I don't remember what he did before that, but this year it's Queer Black History. So if you see on my personal Facebook page, that's what's coming up. And then another friend of mine works in the Navy, and something about her job has to do with history and like. And so all her posts are about Black history in the Navy, or Black Navy history, Navy Black history. I don't know. But those are cool things too, that are coming up that I'm also sharing, because I think like we always hear, every year you hear about Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King and, George Washington Carver. And you know what I mean? Every year we hear about the same ones, and there's so many more. And I don't think, but after a while, it feels like it loses, like Black history loses its flavor and strength when we keep talking about the same 6 people, because then it's easy for it to seem like these are the only people, right? These are the only 6 Black people
to
who
me,
ever
it
did
gives
anything
me
great.
the impression that of all the Black people in the world, these are the 6 people that really did something
Right.
amazing, when there are
Which
a
is
lot
not
of
true.
amazing people. Yep. So I mentioned a Black woman who invented GPS. So I, of course, Googled it.
Which is a good thing to do.
Yes. And her name was Gladys West. And actually her real name was Gladys Mae West. She was known as Nee Brown. She was born in 1930 or 31, which is what they say here. She was an American mathematician known for her mathematical models that she created that eventually would be incorporated into the global positioning system, which allows us to actually use GPS today.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
Go ahead, Gladys. So,
and her name is Gladys.
Mm-hmm. So, or as they wrote here, Nee Brown.
So that means
or Nay,
that's
maybe?
Nay. That
Nay
means
Brown.
that's her maiden name. Brown is her maiden name. Brown is her maiden name, and what's the other name?
West.
West is her married name.
Yep. Gladys Mae West, known as Nay Brown.
Okay, that sounds weird.
Maybe that was just like
no. Let me see it.
Yeah. So Gladys Mae West, known as Nay Brown.
No, it's not Nay. It's not known as. So her name is Gladys Mae West because she got married, and they're just letting you. Nay Brown means that Brown was her maiden name. Oh. Not also known as. Just it used to be her name. It's just a way to.
Brown. Okay.
To signify
but it's
who
amazing.
she was first.
I did not know this. And of course, somebody posted it on Facebook and I was like, oh, that's interesting little tidbit to know. Because again, there's a lot of amazing women that, like, for example, when you think about the movie with what's her face that just came out like 2 years ago.
Oh, you're talking about, is her name Katherine Johnson?
Yes.
The one who did the math stuff for the landing
for
to
NASA
the moon?
and stuff. Yeah. Like a lot of the Apollo projects wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the mathematical genius that was this woman who did what a machine couldn't do.
And they didn't even want her to use the bathroom.
Correct. She had to literally run across campus to be able to use the bathroom until the director said, "Screw this shit, girl. You're getting a bathroom in here too."
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard that part never happened that part happened in the movie, but it never happened in real life.
I sort of kind of figure that there's a lot of things that were doctored in that movie to sort of kind of give it an appeal,
so that it doesn't look as bad as it was. Right? That's always the case. So. But the other thing that always strikes me every year at Black History Month is how many firsts are still happening now. Like first Black-owned pharmacy in Brooklyn, right? Or first Black-owned, what is this place called? Urgent Care. Or first Black lawyer, like circuit lawyer in some town in Texas. Or first Black, there's going
to be a lot of first things that come out of that. Anything south of that Mason-Dixon line. I mean, First, sculpture is is the only word that comes to mind. First sculpture of a Black girl in Philadelphia, some athlete, but it's just so many. It's 2019, and there's still, not only are there so many firsts that are still happening, but there are so many people who did the first thing
who are still alive now, right? And a lifespan is 75 years or so. So whenever people talk, people talk a lot about like slavery was so long ago, and you know the civil rights movement is over, and it was so long ago.
No.
I saw a meme that said, "You're always talking about ancestors and what happened to ancestors," and the guy was like, "You mean my grandma?" Like. Not ancestor, it's my grandma. She's in the back room. Like this stuff is so new that and still not over, right?
Yeah.
And still not done. And I like to say that this isn't a political show or like a I don't know what it is, but like I'm Black all the time, so Black stuff affects me. I think about it. People see it in me, and you have to talk about it. Even when you're being light about other things, like eventually you come back to the stuff that's always, and it's always Black with me. So it's just the firsts are still happening, and the first people who did something are still alive. So this stuff is brand spanking new, and part of the reason why I'm trying to figure out the right way to talk about it at home is because I don't want my kid at school hearing about how slavery was such a long time ago, or there's some textbooks that call people who were slaves, they call them immigrants from Africa, right? Like,
no, that's not what they were.
That's not how any of this works, right?
I mean, obviously, yes, they would have been immigrants if they came here
on
of their own free will, but they did not. They were brought here against their will. They weren't immigrants. They were forced to live here.
Yep.
You know, they were snatched up from their homeland and brought here and said, here, do this, and you're not going to get paid. You're going to work for 16 hours a day, backbreaking labor. I'm going to beat you whenever I want you, have you if I want you as a woman, or who knows, maybe as a man. And, you know, it's a lot of people need to realize that blatant racism
hasn't ended.
Well, it got replaced with systemic racism, right?
And quiet racism.
That's why I think that today's generation thinks, oh, racism was so long ago. The civil rights movement was so long ago. But
Except
you don't realize,
with our new president, it came back real fast.
Immediately.
So it was only quiet. It was never gone. It was just quiet. And it's like stuff you don't do in mixed company. And now people are quite happy to be racist out loud in all the companies.
And so one thing that I want to acknowledge is that, you know, a lot of people always said, oh, you know, these were the greats. Like when you think of John Lewis and Dr. Martin Luther King and all these people that were at the forefront and at the front of the battle when we talk about civil rights, and how in the 1960s, there was all this big push and these incredible men did this amazing thing, but they don't realize that with systemic racism that followed after the passing of the Civil Rights Act, you know, things were put in place to sort of kind of keep that particular demographic down. And so a lot of the grassroots that are happening today, a lot of the people that are actually going out there and calling people out on their white privilege and calling people out on their bullshit, like this governor from freaking Virginia and blah, whatnot. And the people that are doing that work is just as important as our forefathers who did it before us in the 1960s, because we're fighting a different type of racism now. It may not be as blatant as it was back then, but it's still nonetheless racism, and we need to fight it. And a lot of people don't realize that they have power in the words that they choose, and they have power in the work that they do and the activism that they do. So keep up the goddamn motherfucking good work.
Keep it up.
Seriously.
All of you who are out there, who is it? Is it Chantel who said we can't always go hard the whole long time? Sometimes you need a break. If you are out there and you have the energy to do it now, you go hard, and I will clap for you. And when I'm ready to get up,
I'll go right behind you.
I will go right behind you. We'll take turns. But that is a good segue to, I didn't want to start with these people that are upsetting me right now. To start with the good stuff, right? The happy Black History Month.
Yeah, of course.
But of course, it's Black History Month. It's only February 6th. Like, it's only February 6th. And here we go with the, you couldn't even give, like, just a couple days. Just give us a couple days to not be blatant racist.
You couldn't call out all these, like, scandals, like, in March 1st.
Right. Just wait.
You couldn't wait until, like, a white month. You had to do it during Black History Month.
Okay, so we have to start with Liam Neeson, because I really used to like And literally, as of yesterday, I don't like him anymore. But I really used to like Liam Neeson, and I was willing to give him these ridiculous movies where he can't possibly do any of the stunts that he's doing, right? Like, Liam Neeson is my Clint Eastwood, right? Clint Eastwood is a little bit too old for me, but Liam Neeson, I remember Liam Neeson when I was younger.
For me, it would have been Steven Seagal.
Yes, he's
in Fire
right, I'm not
or
as old
Blood
as you
or
are.
any of these other
Exactly. So Liam Neeson is my guy, my old white guy that I was like standing for.
Well, shit, Clint Eastwood is older than Steven Seagal.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't have anything to do with Clint Eastwood.
Gotcha.
Plus, his racism is coming.
I'd like something to do with his son, though.
Oh yeah, his son is cute. But Clint Eastwood, in his old senile foolishness, is letting his racism hang all the way out with his hangy balls. So
even in the movies that were being made back then, like Cowboys, Indians, Clint Eastwood was like,
forget
really
that he had
shit.
the Torino, whatever, the Torino movie. That one was low key racist. The whole movie. Anyway, we're not talking about Clint Eastwood right now and his foolishness. We're talking about Liam Neeson, who said that in an interview. So let me start by saying this is where old white men think that they can just carry on saying whatever they want, whatever like thing pops into their head, it is okay for them to say it. And so in an interview, he said, "Oh yeah, I was able to tap into the revenge of this movie, not the racism, but into the revenge of this movie, because when I was younger, my so-and-so sister, friend, cousin, whoever was raped, and she said she didn't know who it was, but the person was black. And so he got a club. He had some fancy word for club, but he got a club and he was just walking around town hoping that he would run into some black man who would start some shit with him so that he could bludgeon him to death." Those are the words he said.
So here's
the
quote that I have here.
Okay, let's listen.
Neeson says he asked his friend about the race of the attacker, along with other descriptive characteristics, before heading out into black neighborhoods on multiple occasions, quote, looking to be set upon so that I could unleash physical violence.
I didn't even know that part, that he was going into actual black neighborhoods.
End quote.
End quote.
And
so now he's put his foot all the way in his mouth, and now he's trying to fix it because people are like, I don't know what we were going to talk about, but let's just talk about this for a second. And I don't even have to ask you any more questions. I'm just going to let you keep talking because you are doing all the work for me. Right?
But it gets worse.
Okay, let's
So
hear.
in an interview published Monday in the UK Independent, Neeson said that after being told the attacker was black, he went up and down areas with a kosh, a stick or a truncheon, hoping a black person would come out of a pub and have a go at me about something, so that I could kill him.
Yeah.
End quote.
And then he says, "I'm not a bigot. This was 40 years ago." It's like, so it wasn't wrong then? What? Listen, Liam, you're done. I'm
done.
over you. So his the red card. I don't think he's done.
Here's what's going to happen. White America is not going to think he's done. Right. He's still going to get his movies made and blah blah blah. But I think that from a position of power, we were letting him
into the barbecue. I'm sure we were letting him into the barbecue, and now
I know he took a couple of bites out of those ribs.
He's not coming back to the cookout. No more.
I think that the community, the people of color, Latinos, and people of who are of a minority background need to step up and do what they need to do. This man should not be benefiting from this type of, even if it was 40 years ago, right? Because obviously, if he had these thoughts then, just because he's 66 now, doesn't mean that those thoughts went away.
Right. So I don't think that he's going to do that now, right?
I don't think he would be able to.
Right. You're not actually that guy from Taken.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this earlier. If you admit to something shady, racist, terrible from your past, but in admitting it, you say this is what I did then. I recognize that it was wrong then as it is now. And I am so sorry and so embarrassed that that's what I thought then, or that's what I did then. I would never do that again now.
But here's the thing. This is not something that someone found out about him and threw out there on a paper. This is a self-inflicted wound, right? Like, he literally walked into the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and stabbed himself.
Right. And I'm sure it wasn't on the notes, and they asked him the question, and he was like, oh, I have a story. Let me tell you this story.
I was like, what the fuck, dude? Are you
Stop talking.
Are you like having an episode of like, let me fuck up my career and I forget that I shouldn't say this? Or I don't know. It's like, listen, I'm a type of person, if you see something, say something. If you see nothing, you don't feel nothing, right? Had I never known this about him, maybe I would still appreciate his work. But this is going to make it very hard to do so.
Yeah, and he's not apologizing. He is justifying it because it was 40 years ago. And that's, as someone else I saw said, I mean, do we want people to learn from past mistakes, or do we want them to stay bigots or whatever? And I was like, but people are not learning, and they're at least not saying that they're learning, or even pretending to say that they're learning.
I'm a firm believer that people deserve a chance to redeem themselves, and to learn from their past mistakes.
But it's been a few days, and he's not.
Yeah, no,
he's not redeeming himself. No. He's digging deeper.
But I'll give you an example. This Northam character, the governor of Virginia, right? 20 plus years ago, this right wing publication came out with him in a yearbook in blackface, and with someone in a white robe, a Klan white robe, standing right next to him. And, this is in a medical school yearbook. Like, you're going to medical school. Like, I'm sure you knew that at some point you're going to take an oath to do no harm to any individual, which includes a black person, and so on. And you're standing next to someone in blackface that has a Klan outfit on, and you have the audacity to say that first you come out and apologize and say, it's wrong, I shouldn't have done that. Had you left it there,
yeah, just stop.
That probably would have been the end of it. But then he has the audacity to go out and say, that's not me.
Right.
It couldn't have been me. But I do remember that one year at a talent show in Texas, I put on blackface and did the moonwalk because I was playing Michael Jackson. So now, so this is not an isolated issue. Right? Now this is twice you've done this. You stupid fuck, shut the fuck up. And then,
oh God.
And then he walks back again, and now he's refusing to resign. Oh and so I say to myself, listen, I'm a firm believer, especially in our communities, in the Latino community, in the Black community, if you do something and you get incarcerated, that shit follows you for the rest of your life. You're not unable to get a job other than, what you could do, either working for,
you can flip.
Yeah, flip a burger or work for a contractor who's not like, doing a background check to see what kind of criminal record you have. And it's sad, right? Because people can change, and people should be given an opportunity to, once they pay their debt to society, be able to prove themselves and to be able to like have an opportunity to make a really awesome wage and do nice things for their family and their kids after being gone for so many years and having a chance. And the fact that they don't really pisses me off. But so in that same breath, if this governor came out and said, listen, 20 plus years ago, I did do this. It was wrong. Then I acknowledge it's still wrong now. I hope that you can find it within you to forgive me. I think shit would have went away. Yes, my mother's in the house, by the way. She's upstairs.
Got it.
So that's why you're hearing things.
I'm hearing something. I was like, am I going crazy?
So I think it would have went away.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, it still might go away.
Well,
I mean,
the Democratic Party is really calling for his resignation.
Okay.
You've got a lot of Black prominent leaders that are saying the NAACP now stepped in and said, no, he has to go. Kamala Harris is on the record. She's also a candidate for president for 2020 that says, he has to go. But that's not the problem. So now we have his lieutenant governor, right? Should he resign, his lieutenant governor now has an issue about an allegation of sexual assault from someone in 2004 that supposedly occurred while they were at a Democratic convention. And so if it couldn't get any worse...
Throw it all away. Throw them all away.
if it couldn't get any worse... So mind you, his lieutenant governor is a black guy. Mm-hmm. Very young, very prominent, up and coming.
I bet they'll get him to resign real fast.
I wouldn't doubt it. But white man is going to stay on top, right? To make matters worse, his attorney general... who would be next in line should the governor go and the lieutenant governor would go. The attorney general, who's next in line, also comes out like a dumbass and says, oh, well, I did blackface too about 40 years ago. I was like, did you not see this man almost lose his job or about to lose his job and your dumbass is going to come out? I was like,
This is like real life Designated Survivor, right? Yeah. You just want to like wipe out a whole... Or there was another movie with Shia LaBeouf, Eagle Eye or something, where the computer was like, I don't want none of y'all.
Goodbye.
The whole line. She went down like 16th in line.
I'm like, you stupid mofos. Do you not watch the news? Mm-hmm. Have you not watched what happened to all these
Any
people?
Of these people
that have come out?
This is the audacity of white privilege.
Yeah.
Like that happened to them, but that's not me. That's not gonna happen to me.
So, I do believe in redemption, and I do believe that people change, and I do believe in the path of being right, doing right by yourself and right by others. But when you're stupid ass, just
deserve
dig yourself,
everything you get.
You got to go. All three of them should go at this point.
And Liam.
The next person in line is a Republican.
Oh Lord.
Speaker of the House of Virginia, and he's got some scandal on him too. But I don't know what it is. I can't remember. Like you got here just in time for me to like miss that whole part.
So Virginia's a hot mess. But I have a couple more. Wait. Okay. So. Before I got here, I saw that Gucci. So Gucci was just in trouble for these little Black Samba figurines.
Face covers.
So that's what I saw today. It's a turtleneck. It's a black turtleneck with an elongated turtleneck that you can roll up in case you're super cold. You can roll up to your nose, and there's a hole for your mouth so that you can still talk. And then stitched around the hole is a bright red seam so that now you're basically half in blackface, right? And the thing I saw said Gucci Pulls latest, like Gucci Pulls turtleneck. And it's just like, Gucci, why does this keep happening to you?
But, okay.
Why do you keep doing this?
Okay, but I need to ask
who's
question.
In charge?
Who's in charge of their
who's in the room?
Line, right? No, but I need to ask you a serious question.
I'm listening.
So, it is cold as fuck outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no line, and you have to cover yourself up. I've seen these masks that you put on, and they're black.
It's called a baklava.
Ski mask or whatever you want to call it.
It's got a fancier name, a baklava. It's not baklava.
And you like literally Velcro them on, and it just leaves your eyes, your nose, and your mouth open.
It's like what they rob banks with.
Yes.
Yep.
So
it's called like a baklava. Go ahead.
Given the temperature of how sensitive blackface is right now,
balaclava.
I don't think it's baklava is like a
that's a pastry.
Treat. It's a pastry from
It's called
Middle
a
East.
balaclava. That's a weird word.
So at this point, anything that covers our face
balaclava
that happens to be black is now inappropriate?
First of all, let's not go there. Okay?
No. I mean, I have to ask.
No, that's not the case, and that is like the most infuriating response that people give to anytime black people. Let's just stick with black people. Anytime black people say, "Yo, that shit's offensive." Like at worst, it's offensive. At least it's insensitive, right? Anytime we say that, people are like, "Oh, so I just can't do anything?" It's like, no, you can't wear blackface. Why is that why?
But that's what I'm trying to understand. What would constitute blackface? Okay, because right now we have this half thing. Gucci did.
Right.
We have these masks that cover your whole face.
Okay, so
I don't even know.
Okay, so this mask, this ski mask that covers your whole face, that nobody's calling that blackface unless white people put it on and then put on bright red lipstick. Okay? Then I got no problem saying, all right, now you can't have ski masks because y'all don't know how to act.
But
right?
But why? What if they're
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Hypothetically, what if we're in the Alps, in the Alpines, or what do they call those mountains up in
whatever,
in somewhere in the Rockies?
Yep.
And you're skiing,
Rockies.
and your lips are like bright red because they're super cold, or purple at this point, and you've got this mask covering.
But that's the difference.
Okay.
Your lips will never be like friggin' somber red. They're never going to be that red. They will be really pink, but they will never be red. That's why the red is used on purpose. It's purposeful, okay?
So you're saying that
your
characters in the past,
flushness, like you get pink in the sun or you get red in the sun or whatever, you put your mouth in the vacuum cleaner and your lips got red, it will never be the red of the rainbow. It's just never going to be.
When did we start associating red with black?
No, that's not what it is.
Or is it the combination?
Lipstick
okay.
And the black thing is what they did in the minstrel shows. Like, that's a thing.
Back in the day.
Yes,
okay.
that is a thing.
Okay.
And then all of the caricatures and all the, like, cartoons that they made of black people, they were over-exaggerated black.
Okay.
Black with bright cherry red, over-exaggerated lips. And all the little dolls and all the little cartoons that they did around them all look the same way. They all look the same way. Over-exaggerated features that are bright red and black makeup.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's
what I was trying to understand.
Well, that's like, nobody ever confuses togos for clans hoods. Like clans, like when you go for Halloween and you dress up in a togo as a Greek whatever, you're going to be a Greek philosopher or something, and you come in a white sheet wrapped around you, nobody's like, oh, are you in the KKK? Right?
Truth, but for a gay person that'd be completely different. Like, what bathhouse were you in?
Okay, focus, all right?
I'm focusing, girl.
No one would ever confuse the white sheet of a togo as a togo with the white hood and like Klansman outfit. There's never a confusion about that. And so this is the issue that black people that we have with this, is that you know that this is bad, and all of the things that you do to try to get around it so that you can still do the thing, so that you can still say nigga when you want to because you listening to it on the music and, oh, they said it in the radio, I'm just singing along. You cannot do it. It is a hard and fast fuck no, right? Like, it's just no.
No, don't do it.
It doesn't belong to you. I don't care if you came up with it. We took it from you and we said no. I just said no. So if you come out here in this ski mask with bright red lipstick on, some friggin' ruby woo, right? If you come out here in a ski mask and some ruby woo lipstick on your lips, I'm going to punch you in your face. Like, it is a hard and fast no.
Gotcha.
You cannot wear you can't wear a black turtleneck. The black turtleneck was fine. Pulling the neck of the black turtleneck over your face is fine. We have all been cold and pulled up our sweater over so you can get the a backdraft of your hot breath to warm up your face.
So you're saying
all of that is fine. When you cut a hole in it and stitch fucking Ruby Roo around the hole, it is no longer fine. Okay? And the moment you tell me that, oh, but this is just a black sweater and I just happen to have Ruby Woo in my pocket, right? Or I just happen to have red thread in my pocket, I'm going to hit you. I'm not actually going to hit you, but I'm going to want to fucking hit you.
Yeah.
And I might say something rude to hurt your feelings, right? And your feelings deserve to get hurt.
Of course.
You cannot do it at Halloween. You cannot do it fucking Black History Month. You cannot do it on Tuesday. You cannot do it walking in the street. You cannot do it sleeping. You cannot do it with 2 green eggs. You cannot do it. They're just things that you cannot do. And the
just
more,
don't do it.
Just don't do it. And the more you try to get away with doing it, the more we know that you're just a racist asshole. And
the more stupid you look.
And the more stupid you look. And there's just no more There is no more in this day and age. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was offensive. I
At
saw
this
someone
point,
say
we've
that
got
shit.
so many examples.
We have so many new examples.
We have so many viral examples that you are guaranteed to see somewhere on social media.
And the point is that they're new. They're things that happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Things that happened yesterday. They are new. I'm not expecting you to know what a minstrel show looked like if you're 22 and you have no idea. But you are on Facebook and you are on Instagram and you did see that shit on Tuesday that came out. Right? So there's no more, I didn't know, I don't know what blackface is. Why do you even have black makeup, white lady? Like, why? I have not been, but I'm sure people have been Hillary Clinton many of times. All we did was put on a bright suit, like a bright pantsuit, and we're like, yes, with my afro, I'm Hillary Clinton, right?
But you know what kills me, though? It's like these people manage to find some makeup for blackface, but makeup companies can't even make a decent freaking shade of color for an actual black woman to actually have a nice little foundation.
I know. Shout out to Fenty.
And shout out, to Rihanna and all these people that are like, going out of their way to make sure that you have ample shading for all the beautiful shades of black in the rainbow. And proving that
there's money in that,
That's right?
And proving that there is money in catering to everybody. Why? Just like, I don't know how we got here. I mean, I know how we got here, but in just dollars and cents, why would you exclude a whole heap of shit of people?
A huge population.
Whole group of people. Yeah. If you out here trying to make the most money that you can make, that doesn't make any sense.
So the moral of the story for you white folks is don't do blackface, don't do anything stupid, and if you got some stupid shit in your head that you did 40 years ago that no one knows about, keep that shit to yourself.
Okay, now we also have a moral of the story for black people, okay? Yeah. Because sometimes, we've talked about this before, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, right? And so when some shit like this happens, Liam Neeson shows his ass. Here comes fucking Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh, Lord.
About how he's not racist because did you see the way he kissed Viola Davis? Is that her name? Viola Davis with his tongue all down her throat.
When was this? Were they in a movie together?
Yeah, Widows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Widows. So Michelle Rodriguez with her ridiculous, stupid ass. Here she comes. Oh, he can't be racist because he had his tongue all the way down Viola Davis's mouth. Like, why are you so stupid?
Well, I can speak and say that knowing where she comes from, there's a lot of racism among the Puerto Rican people and black people. It does exist. It's very common on the island, and it's also very common here in the U.S. Right. So what she's doing is saying some stupid racist shit.
Yep. Forgetting that people don't look at her and think she's white. And I don't know who it is. Someone just said to me earlier, oh, she has enough money. She can say whatever she wants. No, she doesn't have white people money to be able to say whatever she wants. No
I know
way.
that I said to you, that's a white girl. She's not Rican anymore.
She's ridiculous is what she is. Yeah. And then Whoopi Goldberg is out here defending Liam Neeson. And I feel like whenever some shit like this comes out, I'm sad too. I liked him too. But you don't throw us under the bus to go save him. That's the whole fucking point. That is the whole point. And it makes me so mad, even though Liam Neeson has no bearing on my life. Whoopi Goldberg, Michelle Rodriguez, they have no bearing on my life, right? But the way that bleeds down from famous people to like regular people that you work with or see in the street or blah, 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 like...
It's just like what our president is doing. His bullshit just trickles down to the rest of society.
Yes.
And, now you have, crazy little white boys running around thinking that it's okay to run around, calling people N's and spics and God knows what not, and that it's okay that you live in Trump country now. Well, bitch, I'm gonna show you what Trump country is. If you come over here, I'm gonna pop you in your lip.
They're not doing it to the right people because the right people will fucking lay them out.
My point. So it's just Michelle, go away.
Yes.
Wasn't she on Fast and the Furious for a couple of years? It's just like you're working with a lot of great talent. With people of color with amazing talent, and you're gonna come out with some bullshit like that,
right? And just because you've been in 19 Fast and Furious, don't mean that people.
Has it been 19?
It's
got to be like 40.
8. It's been at least 8.
Yeah, no.
They're working on number 9 now. I mean, nobody confuses you for a white lady, okay?
No.
So stop your shit,
especially with that accent.
Oh, she's so ridiculous,
and all them braids should be popping up in your hair.
Oh, I can't handle it because it just stresses me out. I saw someone say, I don't trust white people born before 1985. And even then,
You shouldn't trust them born after 1985 either. Because you got to remember, they grew
so
up with a person who was born before
Exactly,
1985. And that shit is learned at home. So don't sleep on them motherfuckers either. I'm just saying, I'm just letting you know.
It's insane. That's what she did. She posted a picture of some people picketing outside of a school. And she was like, this is their parents. These are the people those people grew up with. How can you expect anything? She was actually saying, why are people so surprised by Liam Neeson or any of this stuff? Like, why are we still surprised? We shouldn't be surprised. These are their parents. These are who they are. Like, they're showing you who they are. And as usual, because...
But it shocks me, though, because he's a Swedish-born actor.
Who, Liam?
Yeah.
No, he's from Northern Ireland.
But he's Swedish. I thought he was... I thought he was a Swedish actor that lived in Ireland, maybe? I don't know. I don't care. Dude, don't. You literally stabbed yourself, and now you're crying for help and saying that, you literally, it's almost like you stabbed yourself, walked outside and said, somebody stabbed me.
Right.
That's exactly what you're doing. Don't stop.
It's like, pretty terrible. And I guess to beat a dead horse with this, which is not a great metaphor, but it just, it brings up wounds. Like, there's so many black men, black people in jail or like who have received were killed in prison, capital punishment or whatever you want to call it, because so-and-so said a black person did it. Especially a rape. A black person did it. A black person mugged me. A black person beat me up. A black person whatever. Like, it has it's not just you, Liam.
That was also the scapegoat, right?
Right? That is the scapegoat. You don't know who it was, or you got pregnant by accident and you didn't mean to, and you don't want to get in trouble for it, right? Like, there's so
until
many...
the baby's born and be like, oh yeah, no.
Right.
That thing is red. It's got red head, pink penis. Because no, that is not a black baby. I'm sorry. You need to find that white boy because we're gonna kill him.
Right. But that's never the answer, right? No. That's never what happens.
No,
and so this story that he told, not only is it heinous that he would do that, even in that time, it is so triggering because he failed, right? He failed to run into someone that he could beat, bludgeon, kill. But so many other people did not fail. So many other people did beat and bludgeon and kill whatever first black person they saw, or hung, lynched, right? Or blamed I just read about some some man who just got out of jail, who was in jail from 12 years old because of some crooked cop in New York City who just pulled him out of his house and said, oh, you were with these people. And then he was in jail for 20 years.
And you know what the sad thing is? That even in our own correctional system, a white man and even a Latino man will get less of a sentence than a black man will. So someone who made a mistake, let's say if they were 12 years old and got charged as an adult and they were given 25 years to life.
Yep.
And for whatever reason was able to find redemption in their later years, could never have that redemption because their punishment was far worse than a punishment for a white person would ever be. And so... Or
they were lynched and they never got...
Or got
so we know
an opportunity.
We know they didn't do it, but...
But when we think about our penal system and we think about our judicial system, the disparages between how a white man is sentenced versus how everybody else is so disheartening because you're messing with someone's future,
And life.
And as you said, countless people of color have been convicted for murders or for even crimes that they never committed.
Yep.
And then even then, it is harder for a black person to have, or a person of color to have their records expunged after being proven not guilty.
Right.
After spending 15 years
like
in
that
DNA.
little girl, Centoya Brown.
Yep.
Yeah. Her record's not going to be cleansed of that. And even though her sentence was, I don't know, some fancy word that means she's going to get out, but not for a couple months, or commuted, but not.
Yeah, her sentence was commuted.
Whatever.
So my thing is that people are going to judge you for the rest of your life for that one thing. and you're never going to be able to do anything right or be given an opportunity to do anything awesome because of your record when you're a black man. That's totally not the case for someone who's white.
Right.
You
or
know?
a black person, because it happens to black women too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel like even in wanting to be like lighthearted and funny,
This was a necessary episode. It needed to happen.
It's hard. It's hard stuff, and it's a thick and fat, thick pill to swallow, and people don't like to, and people don't like to hear it, and worse off, white people like me, and so people don't like to hear that shit from me either, because they think that I don't think that way, but like, I'm still black. I'm still black.
And you have two beautiful boys that you need to take care of.
My whole house is full of black men, right? Like, it still affects me. And my favorite thing that's come out in the last week was a meme that said, white people, if you have a black friend who doesn't talk about white people in front of you, then you don't have a black friend.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
That's not your friend.
You posted that today.
That's not your friend. Yeah. And I also expect the other way. If I have a white friend that doesn't say anything about black people, or like never cracks a joke about some shit that obviously is not all of us, but some of us like watermelon, like, I don't think we're actually friends, right? Like, you have to be able to laugh at this stuff because it's not true, right? You have to be able to make jokes about that, knowing that it's a safe space for both of us. Because I'm going to tell you all the things about white people that I don't like. I'm sorry. Like, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So this idea that some black people are not like others, or this is a good one, or this one is not like that, or whatever. Like, no, we're all black. We all have the same, like, have to deal with the same thing. We all respond to something like this Liam Neeson shit, or these governors, or these whatevers that are going on. Like, we all have the same visceral response, because we're all struggling with it's called generational trauma. The generational trauma that has been all of black history, right? Where we have bright spots where we have been able to overcome in spite of that trauma, and then be called uppity, or be called bougie, or be called any of these things for rising above like shitty situations.
Yeah.
It is triggering. Yeah. And so I feel like in this conversation, I started out wanting to make jokes and whatever, but felt terribly triggered. And so
we must talk about it.
We just have to get it. We have to say it out loud. I have to make sure that you all listening know that these are the things that I think about. As breezy as I am most days, as breezy as I want to be, like, this is my life. This is the life of most of the people you know. And while every single situation doesn't happen to every single one of us, we all recognize them and feel sort of like a collective pain about it. So, if you have any real black friends, reach out to them. Make sure you talk to them, not only during Black History Month, but all the time.
All day, every year.
All day, every year.
And dear Virginia, fire your entire top
throw them all away.
All of them.
And if you don't have any black friends, go and find some.
Like, seriously, it's not like they're a token or something.
Right.
But, you know, you will be so much richer in your life for having culture.
You will be better.
Seriously. The food is good, too.
Oh, God. Okay, so let's wrap up.
Before we wrap up, I'd like to say that, you know, for all of you that are digging shit out from like 20, 30 years ago, learn from fucking Elizabeth Warren. Just apologize and shut your mouth. Seriously, there was another shit now that they pulled something from Texas in some school that she went like 30, 40 years ago. And in the application, she says she was Native American or something like that. And so, you know, and now they're saying, oh, but you said that you never used it for your advantage and blah, blah, blah. But here you are claiming that you were Native American.
So what did she say?
She just said, I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, I've already apologized for this. I think we've, you know, and then that's how you fucking do it.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
And then you stop talking so you can't get in more trouble.
Exactly. Oh. All right. Anyway,
oh, God. Okay, let's wrap up.
On that note, do you have a hashtag Mom's So Hard tip of the week?
I do, and it's really, really light and silly compared to everything we were talking about. So, I work in my home. I don't know if it's the same as work from home, but I work in my home, and I'm a caregiver, and I was like a full-time mom before that, or
and an educator in some way.
Work from stay-at-home mom, and I just realized last week that I have had it with kitchen towels. Okay. Kitchen towels are a small, useless piece of shit, okay? If you're in the house all day, every day. I decided last week that I just put a regular ass towel on the cabinet door
I'm not
in
mad
my
at you.
kitchen because I am in the kitchen so much over the course of the day. I wash my hands so many times over the course of the day that the towel is
drenched.
it's soaked. And I don't have time for so many. I don't have space for so many towels, and I don't have time, and I hate trying to dry my hand on a wet kitchen towel. And now that I have a full-size bath towel, and actually I got one. I have these towels that are kind of like the Turkish bath towels. So they're supposed to be really absorbent, but they have a small profile. They're kind of thin. So I use that, and it's white and gray, so it's kind of nice and airy looking in my kitchen, but it is a full ass bath towel. And now when I when I dry my hands, there's always a dry spot that I can find on the towel.
It's either that or she's going to like wrap herself like, you know, in the middle of doing dishes and be like, okay, I feel warmer now, right? Because you can actually use it to wrap yourself.
I mean, the alternative is I used to wear an apron. I started wearing an apron that I could dry my hands on the apron, but then the apron gets wet, and so you have to have a couple of them over the course of the day. And really what I found in the last 2 weeks is that this bath towel, this full-size bath towel in my kitchen has really just cut out a whole lot of, because it's not a real problem, right? I mean, it is a real problem, but it's not a real problem.
It's a breezy problem.
It's a breezy problem, but it is as annoying as fuck, okay? It is annoying in that moment, in the split second where you're trying to dry your hand and you touch a wet towel. Yuck.
It's like putting your finger inside the strainer. You know how when you put the strainer and you
get the noodles out.
And you're like, ooh.
There's like one piece of onion skin that's blocking all the water from getting out. Yeah. It's those kinds of little things. So I'm just here to give you little notes that you didn't even know were dragging you down in the back of your mind.
But they weren't.
They were. It was dragging you down. So get yourself a big ass towel and put it in the kitchen and save yourself some annoyance.
For real.
Anyway, that was it. That's all I got. We'll be back next week. I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll probably still be talking about black stuff because, I mean, it's Black History Month. All month.
You know?
4
and
weeks.
this is the Breezy Moms podcast hosted by a beautiful black woman, so get used to it.
It's true. Okay, well, that's it for tonight. I'll see you next week. Bye. This show is produced by Tom Ortiz at Digital Stream Radio. It's available for download on Podbean.
Yes,
follow us at Facebook at Breezy Moms Podcast or email us at breezymomspodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, don't stress, just breathe.